Ever since drafting Kyler Murray first overall in 2019, the Cardinals just have not found their footing. And to be honest, it's one of the most inconsistent teams in the NFL. They're in a really weird place between being just good enough to compete, but not good enough to really win anything meaningful. And I think it's been frustrating for a lot of Cardinals fans to watch this team over the last few years. Now, I wouldn't call Kyler Murray a bust at all. However, he also has not lived up to the #1 pick expectations. And to be fair, the cast around him has not been great at all. Now, recently they have added Marvin Harrison Jr. and Trey McBride is completely broken out, with James Conner becoming a nice option in the backfield, but defensively this team just does not have a lot of strengths. They just brought in Josh Sweat to hopefully fix their pass rush issue, as they've not had a true #1 pass rusher since Chandler Jones. Budda Baker, of course, has been a long time great for this franchise. Garrett Williams and Will Johnson look to be one of the nicest young corner duos in the NFL, with Walter Nolan just being drafted by this team. Calais Campbell, of course, an aging vet, along with Dalvin Tomlinson, but both of these players are on their last legs and they don't look to be sticking around. Now again, I don't think that Kyler Murray has been a bust by any stretch of the imagination, but he's still not lived up to that #1 pick, as I just cannot get off of this block. Just like the team, Kyler Murray has been in that weird in-between where he's been just good enough not to move on from, but also not good enough to really elevate the team around him. And again, in all fairness of Kyler Murray, he has not had a great supporting cast basically his entire career. They took a chance on Marvin Harrison Jr., and despite playing well the first couple of weeks, he definitely slowed down towards the end of the season. I don't think by any means that he's a bust. I think he's going to have a great sophomore year. But other than that, this Cardinals team has just not really found their identity. Now again, they've had their moments. Like a few years ago, they started 7-0. They looked like one of the best teams in the NFL, or at least one of the hottest, but they've really quickly burned out, and since then, they really haven't had much success at all. And it's disappointing. The Cardinals are one of the oldest franchises in the NFL, and despite that, they've probably been one of the worst. Honestly, right behind the Lions all time, the Cardinals are probably the second worst franchise of all time, because despite being around for as long as they have, they still have not achieved a Super Bowl. But in this rebuild, I plan to change that. Now, I think the key for us is obviously going to be drafting, and I think the big question here is, do we stick with Kyler Murray or not? And honestly, I'm leaning towards no, as we beat the Saints 31-13 in week 1. Just because I don't think that Kyler Murray is in a position, at least in the game, right? We're going to have to ignore real life for this. He could still evolve in real life. However, in the game, he's 28 years old. He's star development. He's not really going to develop any further. And unless he has an incredible year, he's going to be stuck at a low 80 overall at best. And I just don't think that we can win a Super Bowl with that. So assuming that we're not great at the trade deadline, I could look to move Kyler Murray. I know he signed a massive extension. I know that he's viewed as a franchise player. However, in Madden, I think it might make the most sense to move on from him. Now, another big issue with this team has been the complete lack of edge rushers. Another issue with this team has been the complete lack of pass rush, right? Really, ever since Chandler Jones left, this team has not had an elite edge. They had Hassan Reddick for a little while, they had JJ Watt, and for one reason or another, those ended up not being long-term pieces for them. And it just seems like this team has not been able to find a true identity within themselves. As at the bye, we are 3-4 with the 25th ranked offense and one of the best defenses in the league at 6. Taking a look at the stats, it looks like Kyler Murray is actually not playing bad, but he's also not playing great. Rushing wise, James Conner's averaging under 4 carry, just 2 touchdowns. Like I said, in the game, he's just not going to be a great piece, right? He's 30 years old, he's star development, and he's only an 85. And a running back, even in real life, towards the end of his career, it just does not have a lot of value. However, there is a player that I do like named Trey Benson, and I think Trey Benson could be a very good back for the Cardinals in real life. I know James Conner did just sign an extension, but I think that Trey Benson could eventually become the starter, especially since James Conner could definitely slow down. As receiving wise, Michael Wilson is leading the team with 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, Marvin Harrison with just 304 touchdowns of his own, Trey McBride with 328 yards, and appropriately 0 receiving touchdowns. Defensively, Josh Sweat is actually having a very good year for us, getting 5 sacks, Zaven Collins with 4.5, Calais Campbell with 3, Walter Nolan with 2, and Dalvin Tomlinson with half a sack. For interceptions, Akeem Davis is actually playing very well at the linebacker position, picking up 2 of his own. Garrett Williams equally matched matching him with 2, and Buda Baker right behind them with 1. Again, this team has pieces, right? They just haven't been able to put them together. I don't know if we're going to move on from Kyler Murray just yet because, like I said, we're a fringe playoff team. That seems to be the common theme with this team. They're always just good enough to be close to the playoffs, but never good enough to go far with it. Now, at the midseason mark, we are 3-4, and honestly, I'm going to do something that I don't think the Cardinals will do in real life, and that is going to be blowing up the team, at least somewhat. I know that Calais Campbell's playing well, but he's 39 years old. He's a nose tackle. The draft has a lot of nose tackles, and for us, I just don't think he's going to make big enough of an impact to win many games, especially considering he's probably going to retire after this year. Walter Nolan can step into that one spot and start for us. He can get more reps as a rookie, and we can really develop him. Now, I'd like to trade Calais Campbell to a contending team that actually makes a little bit of sense, and I think the Bills are one of those teams. They have Ed Oliver, they have Daquan Jones, they have Joey Bosa. They have very, very solid players. All of them are a little old, so I think that Calais Campbell will fit right in, as Greg Rousseau is here as well. I think he'd probably go for a little bit less in real life, but in the game here, we're going to be able to pick up an extra 4th round pick for Calais Campbell. And with that, this might make a few people upset, but I'm going to be trading James Conner. And I think a team that makes a lot of sense for him is the Cowboys, right? He's a solid running back. The Cowboys are looking to contend. Now, they might not actually be able to contend, but they're looking to, and I think the Cowboys would be willing to move an end of round day 3 pick for James Conner. They don't have a true running back one between Tajay Spears and Javonte Williams. It's not a great backfield, but I think adding James Conner would actually be a pretty solid addition for them. I don't think this trade would happen in real life again, but I'm trying to keep it relatively realistic, and as you can see, the team is looking a lot worse, but it's to be expected. There's not a lot of younger talent on this team. I do like Garrett Williams, and Will Johnson could look to be one of the best steals of the draft, but besides that, there's just not a lot of younger talent on the team. So I think what we're going to do is we're just going to sim to the end of the year, and we are going to get straight to free agency in the draft. I'm hoping we can get a high pick, but knowing this game, we're going to go 8-9 and pick right around 20. As no, we completely collapse. Our defense goes from top 6 to number 32. Our offense looks to be one of the worst in the league, with our rushing completely collapsing, and the team just did not perform well at all. I mean, I didn't expect us to be good, but this is very bad, as Kyler Murray pretty much puts up identical stats to his real life counterpart. Rushing wise, Trey Benson was not good at all. 11 touchdowns isn't bad, especially considering he didn't play as much, but averaging 3.7 yards per carry is just not good. Receiving wise, Marvin Harrison does lead the team with just over 1,000, 7 touchdowns for him. Michael Wilson picks up 9 of his own with about 850 yards. Trey McBride just over 800 yards with 4 touchdowns. Zay Jones with a little under 700 and 4 touchdowns. And Trey Benson picked up a few out of the backfield as well. Blocking wise, Jonah Williams was terrible for us. Paris Johnson Jr., in real life, this isn't good, but in Madden, this is actually very good for the left tackle position. Our guards were terrible, and our center, Yalty, he wasn't bad, but he could have been a little bit better. Defensively, Mac Wilson Sr. leads the team in tackles with Akeem Davis right behind him. TFL's Zaven Collin picks up 10, leads the team, as well as leading the team in sacks, as Josh Sweat just does not perform well. I didn't think he was going to, but the Cardinals just traded for him. It wouldn't make any sense to trade him as well, as Akeem Davis is right behind him with 6. 3 interceptions for Akeem Davis too. He actually had a very nice year from the linebacker position, picking up 9 deflections as well. He was very good. Garrett Williams gets 3 interceptions. Will Johnson with a very nice rookie year, picking up 2 of his own. Buda Baker with 2 of his own. How did Walter Nolan do? He did okay with 2 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, and 33 tackles. Picked up a deflection as well. The team was not good. Honestly, the team was just not good at all. I don't think we're going to be in any of the yearly award races. The only ones that we really have a chance at are the rookie ones, as Teteroa McMillan wins Offensive Rookie of the Year and Jalen Walker wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. The team's just not very good, man. I don't know what else there is to say. We're just going to go and get right to the offseason. This was a complete failure. failure of a season, but I think it was a necessary step in this Cardinals team, right? In real life, Jonathan Gannon would probably get fired after this, especially considering the track record, but in the game, I'm the coach, and I'm staying on the fucking team. As on the season, the Ravens beat the Falcons 23-17. MVP goes to Joe Burrow because of course it does. Coach of the Year goes to Brian Callahan of the Titans. I don't think that one's gonna happen in real life. Puka Nacua wins Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year goes to Jared Verse. The Rams get both Offense and Defensive Player of the Year. Rookie of the Year goes to Ashton Genty, and Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Shamar Stewart. And yeah, we're just gonna get straight into the offseason. I mean, I don't think that there's a ton to re-sign on this team. We're gonna pick up the 5th-year option of Paris Johnson. It's kind of hard to believe that he's already almost in his 4th year. I remember him coming out of the draft. He was one of my favorite prospects. Of course, the Cardinals did take him pretty high in the draft, but that's what you got to do if you want to build a good offensive line. Our biggest re-signing looks to be Jalen Thompson, and I'm not sure if I want to bring him back. $8 million, and it gets as expensive as $10 million. We do have the money, but I just don't know if he's a long-term piece. I'm gonna offer him a neutral contract, but other than that, I just don't think he has much value to him, as he does end up signing. He's not too expensive. I'm not going to complain too much about it, right? He is a solid player, but I don't know if he fits into the long-term plans of this team. But we're going to get straight into free agency and see if there's anyone we can add to this team. And again, we have to look at the long-term plan, right? As there are a few pieces here, and Nick Bonito could actually be one of the more interesting ones. It looks like he wants about $22 million a year, but I'm curious to see what he actually did last year and if he deserves that. Of course, in real life, he's probably one of the most underrated pass rushers in the NFL, as in Madden too, he put up 15.5 sacks. Now, to be fair, the Broncos defensive playbook is actually very good, but I think we might actually pick him up. He is going to be expensive, and he doesn't want to be in our scheme. Well, I have good news. We can change that. And as we change our scheme, Nick Bonito wants to be an Arizona Cardinal, so we're going to look to add him, right? We can move him to left edge. He can play opposite of Josh Sweat, and it could be one of the better pass rusher tandems in the NFL. We do have a high pick. However, I think I'm looking more towards the interior. It's not looking like a lot of great edge rushers, and of course, defensive tackles are broken in Madden right now. It's kind of ridiculous. But Nick Bonito will not be cheap, making an average of about $25 million a year, and it gets up to almost $28 million a year. I'm actually still pretty comfortable offering this, as it looks like we are tied with the Chargers for being the top offer. We could look to sign a band-aid player like Will Hernandez. He would be much better at guard than who we currently have. There's also Evan Neal, who I definitely don't want. I think we're going to look to add Will Hernandez for just a year. He'll be a nice band-aid until we can find out what we want to do at guard, and he'll be significantly better than everyone else that we have back there. But honestly, our secondary is pretty filled out. Our edge rushers, assuming we can sign Nick Bonito, will not be bad at all. I think our linebackers are fine. It's definitely something we can address in the draft. The only real holes we have right now are defensive tackle and the offensive line. So I think we're just going to see if we can sign these players, as we do sign both Nick Bonito and Will Hernandez. Nick Bonito is not cheap at all, averaging about $25 million a year, and it's a big contract, but he's a big time player, as after all the upgrades, Kyler Murray is only up to an 81 overall, and I believe he's about 29 years old now. It's going to be tough to stick with Kyler for the whole rebuild. He's already 29. He's only star. I don't think he's going to develop much. We could definitely look to move him next year if we're not performing well. Michael Wilson's up to an 80. Marvin Harrison up to an 83. Paris Johnson up to an 85. Trey McBride up to a 93. The offensive line looks a little bit better. It's still not great at all, but it does look better with Will Hernandez there. As defensively, we look a lot more solid. Nick Bonito coming off the left edge, Josh Sweat off the right, and on the interior, we have Walter Nolan. I'll definitely be looking to move on from Dalvin Tomlinson. He's in the later stage of his career. He doesn't fit into this team long term. Garrett Williams looks to be our one, with Will Johnson as a nice two. Okay, getting into the draft, we actually do pick at number 1 overall. I didn't think we were picking that high. We went 4-13, which is not good by any stretch of the imagination, but it's not as bad as you would think it is, as I still can't see my screen. I don't know when EA is going to fix this, but it does look like there are 2 round 1 to 2 QBs. We might end up taking one here. Now, I don't think we're going to stick at number 1. I think we're definitely going to trade down unless we find a genuinely incredible player. But if the player is good enough, and honestly, Eddie Harrison looks very good. He has a tackle, A hit power, A finesse moves, B block shed, B power, A play rec, A awareness. We might have to take Eddie Harrison, to be honest. We need a defensive tackle. I think we're gonna do it. Honestly, I came into the draft pretty much expecting to trade down just because we needed more draft picks. We needed to accumulate more talent everywhere. But I think Eddie Harrison might actually be the pick. As he is ranked number 1 in true talent, we got him at number 1. He does have 80 speed, 93 strength, 84 acceleration, 83 agility, and of course, hidden development. He's just 22, and at 6'2", 287, he looks to be one of the best young pieces on this Cardinals defensive line. As in the draft, it does look like both of the round 1 to 2 QBs went. However, there are still some of the top prospects, but considering that they're still here, I don't think that they're going to be great, as Callum Long is still around 3 to 4 talent, but he looks pretty good. B deep, B medium, B short, B under pressure. He looks like he's a pretty good athlete, and he has A awareness, A juke move as well. He might not be great, but we could take him if he's available in the 3rd round, but for now, I think we're going to look to improve our offensive line. We need help just about everywhere, and offensive line is one of the most important positions in the league. Of course, we have Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride, who look to be a pretty elite duo in real life, as Matthias Cabrera has A pass block. It looks like his run block is only a C, but he could be a player to watch out for. We're definitely going to consider him later in the draft. As Josh Fernandez down the board looks to be a great defensive tackle. We're probably going to end up picking him in the 3rd round just because he looks amazing. B awareness, A hit power, A play rec, B tackle. His block shedding is not great, but he is an elite athlete. We're going to look to take him too. I know we have Walter Nolan, and I know we just drafted a defensive tackle 1st overall. However, he looks very, very solid. I think we're going to end up trading this pick for a later 1st in the next year draft. There's not a ton of talent that I'm liking right now. We don't have a ton scouted. I forgot to use my other focus scouts, but we're just going to pick a team that we think is not going to be great, and we're going to take their 1st round pick. And I think the Vikings are the most likely option, as we have 2 3rd round picks, and there is still a QB available. I might just take a chance on him. I mean, honestly, I don't see why not. We're definitely looking to improve QB, and he might not be great, but as I think right now, we're just going to take the safe pick and take Josh Hernandez. He's an elite athlete, B awareness, A hit power, A play rec, B tackle. Only C block shed and C block moves, but A to B finesse moves. He's going to be a stud, and we're getting him in the 3rd round. It's great value, as actually no, he's ranked 70 and we got him at 65. Honestly, I thought he was going to be a little bit better, but he does have hidden development. I think down the board, we're going to pick up Matthias Cabrera. He looks to be a pretty good pass protector, A impact blocking. He looks like an okay athlete, but I'm really looking at that A pass block. His run blocking is not great at all. However, we really need any help we can get on the offensive line, and this is kind of just a swing, right? We need a tackle, and he is ranked number 44. We do get him at 81, and he does have hidden development. We're definitely going to play him at guard and move somebody over to right tackle, but honestly, our offensive line looks to be filled out now, as again, I'm not really seeing much that I like in this draft. We could look to trade down again. If I find something, I'll let you guys know, but that could be the last pick that I show. And here is our draft recap. I picked another guard early in the 4th round, but other than that, I just let the CPU fill out the roster. It wasn't an incredible draft. We did get a little bit of talent down the board, and both of these offensive linemen are better than they're better than who we currently have there. But overall, I just think that there wasn't a lot of depth. We did get the number 1 player, but you can see the fall off right after that is pretty substantial. There was a tight end and a little bit of talent in the later 1st round, and there was a very nice halfback in the middle of the 2nd, but I wasn't really looking at the halfbacks, and this guy, he only has 87 speed, right? Other than Eddie Harrison, who was our number 1 overall pick and the number 1 player in the class, it was not a very talented class. We are going to move Matthias Cabrera out to guard. He is a pure pass blocker. He's 6'5", 315. I think he could definitely play right tackle, and he's going to this 1st year. He doesn't really have a choice, to be honest. He kind of just has to do whatever we want him to. But offensively, the team looks okay. I think the biggest question mark here is Kyler Murray. And to be honest, I just don't think he has a place on this team. I'm going to look to move Dalvin Tomlinson just to make room for Walter Nolan. I really don't want Dalvin Tomlinson playing on this team. As throwing him into the trade finder, it looks like the Jets are going to offer Javonte Williams and a 7th round pick. I don't think his value in real life would be very high. And again, I'm not trying to like super cheese it, so for now we're just gonna take that. He's a nice backup running back for Trey Benson at the very least, and I know depth doesn't matter as much in Madden. I'm gonna sim to the mid-season, and if Kyler Murray is playing well, we could look to keep him, but if he's not, we could definitely look to move him. As at the mid-season mark, we are once again 3-4. The offense is not performing well, but the defense is not either. As in the top of this class, it looks like there are a lot of very solid QBs. It looks like there's 6-7 projected to go in just the top 15, 8 in the first round. I think this is gonna have to be the year that we move on from Kyler Murray. We're still not good. He's almost 30 and he's just an 81 overall. I just don't think he works into this team's long-term plans. We're gonna have to go find a trade partner. As this is going to be the trade, Kyler Murray in a very rare interdivisional trade. It was very hard to find a place to send Kyler Murray because of the cap room. A lot of teams just could not afford him, but we do pick up 2 firsts from the Rams. Now they are going to be later first round picks, especially adding Kyler Murray now. However, I think this works out for both sides of the ball. I'm not sure if he would go for this much in real life. I think the Cardinals could probably get a first out of him still. Again, he's shown flashes of being a good QB. He's just not had a good supporting cast around him. But that does mean that we are officially tanking. I think it's the right decision to move Kyler Murray. I don't think he's going to fit long-term on this team. There's not much else to say. I'll see you guys towards the playoffs. I doubt we're gonna make it. I hope we collapse once again. Getting a top pick would be pretty nice, but yeah, I will see you guys towards the playoffs. As we end up going 7-10 and missing the playoffs, I think trading Kyler Murray was the right decision. We've been stuck in this weird limbo for the past couple years where we've just not really known what to do, right? As Jacoby Brissett did not play very well at all. Trey Benson also was pretty terrible. Receiving wise, Marvin Harrison just under 1,000 with 5 touchdowns. Michael Wilson with 800 yards of his own and 5 touchdowns as well. Trey McBride with 8 touchdowns and 800 yards. And Andy Jennings, a rookie receiver that the AI drafted, 660 yards with 6 touchdowns. As defensively, 123 tackles for Mac Wilson, 79 for Akeem Davis, but this is what I'm more interested in. Josh Sweat with 18 TFLs and 18 sacks as well. Eddie Harrison also picks up 8 sacks, a very good rookie here from the nose tackle position, 8 TFLs as well. Nick Benito with 13 TFLs, just 3.5 sacks. We could look to change our playbook. Interceptions wise, Garrett Williams leads us once again with 3, and other than that, we just picked up a few here and there. We weren't really expecting a great year out of the team, as we finished 28th in total offensive yards per game and 10th in total defense. It looks like our defense is actually pretty solid, as the Ravens are taking on the Packers in the Super Bowl. But yeah, I don't think that Kyler Murray was going to be the long-term starter for this team, and I really don't think that we could win a Super Bowl with him. Now in real life, it's hard to say. The Cardinals, they have a lot of variables that could impact their season, as Saquon wins Offensive Player of the Year and Aiden Hutchinson wins Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think in the game that Kyler Murray is going to be the one to lead us to a win, as Callum Long does win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Wasn't this a quarterback? Remember, I traded Kyler Murray to the Rams. It looks like they might have not started him, as Andy Jennings finishes second. Ben Thomas from the Seahawks takes Defensive Rookie of the Year, as Eddie Harrison finishes second. That is unfortunate, as it looks like Callum Long played the first half of the season and Kyler might have played the second. Callum Long was only a 74 in the depth chart when I looked, and it looks like he's actually a superstar development, 78 overall QB now. He definitely got superstar from Offensive Rookie of the Year. He did. And listen, I can only control so much, right? I traded Kyler Murray to a QB needed team. They had a rookie QB, but he was a 74 overall. We move on from Kyler Murray in year 2. We're looking to draft a QB in year 3, as the Ravens beat the Packers 41-35, and I will see you guys in free agency. Now, really quickly, for player re-signings, we do actually have quite a bit of players. Zaven Collins, BJ Ojolari, Mac Wilson Sr., Sean Murphy-Bunting, Baron Browning, Akeem Davis, Yalty, Darius Robinson. We have a lot of players to re-sign, but honestly, I don't think I'm going to re-sign any of these guys. Yalty has not played well for us. Akeem Davis is getting old. Baron Browning, he doesn't even play for us. Sean Murphy has played okay. Actually, Sean Murphy's pretty cheap. I could look to bring him back for a year. We have $100 million in cap room. I'm gonna send him an offer as he does accept. Sean Murphy will be returning, but Zaven Collins, we're just not gonna look to keep these players. Mac Wilson does have superstar, but as in free agency, we have $113 million to spend, and there are quite a few good players. But down the board, we do have Jameson Williams. We could look to add another receiver for whatever QB we end up going with, and honestly, I think that's what we're gonna do. Now, we do have Marvin Harrison, and we also have Michael Wilson and Andy Jennings. We could look to move Michael Wilson to make room for Andy Jennings, and we could become one of the younger teams in the NFL, as I'm just gonna submit a player-friendly offer for Jameson Williams, which puts us at the top of his list. Down the board, Trenton Simpson is here as well. We do need a linebacker. I think he would fit very nicely for us, as we are gonna offer him quite a bit of money. Brian O'Neill is a free agent, and he actually does not have an offer. He does look to be very expensive. However, I think we can bump down the money a little bit to about $23 million a year and re-sign him to a 3-year contract and move Cabrera back to guard and move somebody at guard into center. I think he would actually be a pretty good player for us. We do need help at the tackle position. Our offensive line still has not been great. We can't do much better than that for Trenton Simpson, but at least this way we're a little bit more competitive, and we do get Trenton Simpson. That is a very big pickup. But I think that's going to be it for free agency. The team is looking a lot better going into the draft. Of course, we do still need a QB, as we currently don't even have anyone on the roster. McCullers has superstar. I actually forgot to check these. And on the defensive side of the ball, Josh Sweat is back up to superstar, as Eddie Harrison, of course, has X Factor. I don't think anyone's really surprised about that. Buda Baker actually did go down to star. And you know, part of drafting a QB is making sure that he has a solid offensive line around him. We're going to be trading for Mekhi Becton Sr. from the Chargers. We sent over Mac Wilson and Maxie Melton. There's a ton of corner depth in this class, and the Chargers definitely need receivers with Keenan Allen retiring. Their only real receiver is Ladd McConkey. They have Quentin Johnston, but you know, he's probably not a long-term option for them. As in the draft, it looks like we pick at 10, 15, and 16. One of these first-round picks is from the trade down last year, and one of the other picks is from the Kyler Murray trade, of course, one of them being our own as well. But for the QBs, I'm sorry, I hope you guys can actually see this. It looks like there is a true round 1 QB. However, he is projected to go at 2. It's pretty unlikely that we get him, but it looks like other than that, there is a round 1 to 2 talent that the Browns are projected to pick at 6. I think this is going to end up being who we take. He's a pretty solid athlete with A awareness, A short, B medium, B deep. I don't think he's going to be the greatest prospect. However, I think we're going to be able to keep most of our first round picks if we do this, and it's not going to cost too much to trade up, I don't think, as we are going to be trading pick number 16, a 2nd round pick next year, and a 3rd round pick 2 years from now for pick number 6 from the Browns. This should mean that we're able to get the QB that we want, as the Dolphins take the top 5 talent left tackle. The Jets were mocked to take a QB, and they do. They take the round 1 talent QB. Again, there were good players in this draft, but obviously we did need a QB. As we get Manuel Tovar, I accidentally simmed the pick him. I'm not gonna lie, my heart jumped a little bit. Thankfully, the CPU did draft who we need. And I think what we're gonna do here is take Artis Gaffney, the left tackle out of Georgia. He looks to be a pretty good athlete. He has A awareness, A run block finesse. He's a B pass blocker as well. Now, his run block power is not great, and neither is his pass block power, but it doesn't have to be, right? He can win in other ways. He's a very good athlete, and we could even end up moving him inside to guard, depending on what overall he is, as he's ranked number 71 in true talent, and we got him at 10. Well, sometimes you swing and you miss. And considering how badly we just missed, we're actually going to be trading our 3rd first-round pick for Zach Tom from the Packers. He fills a very important position for us in the right tackle, and paired next to Paris Johnson, our tackle positions are now set. We can move some of our guards inside, as again, we definitely missed on our last pick, but Zach Tom should look to make up for that. Not the most realistic trade, I know, but I think it'll be a good one for the team nonetheless. As here in the 2nd round, we are going to be taking Miles Bradford. He's a round 1 to 2 talent. He looks to be a slot corner. He looks to be a decent athlete as well, relatively fast, B awareness, A catching. He looks like he'll be pretty solid for us. He was ranked number 44, and we drafted him at 22 with just normal development. That is unfortunate. As in the 3rd round, we take linebacker Taylor Elliott. He was ranked at 49. We got him at 74. He does have hidden development, 88 speed. He looks to be a pretty good addition. I know we did just add Trenton Simpson. However, he should be a pretty valuable player for us. A awareness, B block shedding, B tackle. I think he'll be pretty good over the middle, especially currently paired next to Trenton Simpson, as in the 5th round, we're just going to be trading this pick for next year's 4th. We need to get a little bit of the draft capital back that we've lost, and I will see you guys at the end of the draft. As here is our draft recap. Honestly, on paper, it doesn't look like a very good draft at all. However, we did fill a very important position with QB. Artis Gaffney might look to be a bust, as Miles Bradfield is just a 74 for Taylor Elliott as well. And we also took a kicker late in the 7th, just because why not? We needed one. But for the draft overall, it looks like a left tackle and a corner were the highest overalls, both at an 81. But other than that, there were just a bunch of 70s. It looked to be not a great QB class, as Luke Walters was a 76 overall. So I think we might have actually gotten the 2nd best QB in the NFL. As yeah, we actually got the 2nd highest rated QB. There was Eric Snyder in the 3rd, who was the same overall. As Manuel Tovar does have hidden development, a 21-year-old rookie. He looks to be our franchise guy. I can't imagine that he won't be starting for the rest of this rebuild. As that is the draft. It definitely wasn't our best draft. However, I think in free agency, and especially trading for Zach Tom, this team could actually be pretty good. The offensive line is starting to look very nice. Trey McBride is very good. Marvin Harrison as well, with Jamison Williams next to him. Trey Benson hopefully can take the next step. I'm not sure if he will, considering he's only an 84 overall. Defensively, we also look solid. Trenton Simpson will probably be our 1, with the rookie right behind him. Budda Baker and Jalen Sampson in the secondary, alongside Garrett Williams, Will Johnston, and Sean Murphy Bunting. As I will be playing the rookie at slot corner, I want him to get snaps. Sean Murphy Bunting is a solid player, but again, we're trying to play for the future here. I will also be changing our playbooks, just because, again, playbooks kind of are the most important thing in the game. I'm going to switch to Kansas City for the offense, and defensively, we're going to switch to the Broncos playbook. Nick Benito needs to recapture some of that old magic. He didn't play nearly as well here. However, I think he will, given the Broncos playbook. As going into the regular season of year 3, we are an 84 overall, an 84 on offense, and an 85 on defense. I think the team has a lot of promise, especially on the offensive side of the ball now. With Trey McBride, our new QB, Marvin Harrison, and Jamison Williams, we could look to be a very solid offense. So I will see you guys at the mid-season mark. I'm hoping we can finally make the playoffs. I think we're long overdue. However, I think more importantly, we need to hope that our rookie QB can develop. As it looks like at the mid-season mark, we are 4-2. I'm curious to see, as Manuel Tovar does just have star. However, we will not complain about that at all. Gaffey, we still do not know, as he is only a 76 overall. And depending on how the rest of the team is playing, I could actually end up playing Gaffney. I think I'll play him at backup tight end just to get a little bit of extra blocking. But for the stats, Manuel Tovar is having a great rookie season. 12 touchdowns to 4 picks. Rushing wise, Trey Benson, he might just not be the answer for us. Receiving wise, Trey McBride is leading the team with 4 touchdowns and 360 yards. Blocking wise, Paris Johnson is actually not playing well at all. I might actually end up benching Paris Johnson just to see what the rookie can do. We did draft him in the 1st round. It would be nice to see him play just a little bit, as I think I will play him for the remainder of the season. But yeah, I will see you guys at the playoffs. Hopefully we can make it. We started off 4-2, and honestly, Manuel Tovar is looking to be a very nice QB for us. As we do make the playoffs, going 11-6, we were the 15th ranked offense and the 4th ranked defense. Our defense played very well, especially our passing defense. Wow. As Manuel Tovar is playing up to a 95 overall as a rookie, that is actually kind of ridiculous. Gaffney does just have star. Defensively, it doesn't look like anyone got moved up yet, but the team is much better. And honestly, I think that has something to do with Manuel Tovar. 3,800 passing yards, 32 passing touchdowns, and just 7 interceptions. Definitely a great year from him. Trey Benson even turned it around, getting up to just about 4 yards a carry. Still not great. Getting 6 touchdowns of his own. Tovar also rushed for 5 touchdowns and 300 yards. Andy Jennings led the team in receiving with 10 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards. Trey McBride with 907 touchdowns. Jamison Williams with 7 touchdowns of his own, and Marvin Harrison with 6. Everyone was pretty much equal for the team, and Trey Benson also got 50 receptions out of the backfield. That is a ton. It looks like on the offensive line, Gaffney played terrible. Cabrera also did not play well at all. We're definitely going to go back to Paris Johnson Jr. As defensively, Taylor Elliott, the rookie, leads the team in tackles with TFL's Eddie Harrison getting 14 as well as 14.5 sacks, as it looks like the Broncos defensive playbook did very nicely for us. 15.5 sacks for Josh Sweat, 14.5 for Eddie Harrison, and 13.5 for Nick Bonito. Also 5 for Walter Nolan, nothing to scoff at, 12 TFLs as well. As interceptions, Trenton Simpson leads the team, tied with Taylor Elliott and Budda Baker. Offensive Rookie of the Year, of course, goes to Manuel Tovar. Defensive Rookie of the Year, Taylor Elliott at 3 and Miles Bradfield at 10. Best QB goes to JJ McCarthy with Manuel Tovar right behind him. But okay, we are taking on the Eagles in the wild card round. They are a significantly high overall than us. However, we do have an equally tied defense. I'm not sure if I'm expecting a win from this. However, we might be able to pull one out. I just think it's unlikely, especially given how talented this Eagles team is, as we do come out with the win 33-21, and we are in the divisional round with a rookie QB, as we will be taking on the Minnesota Vikings, who we are a 4 overall higher than. They do have a better offense than us. However, our defense is significantly better. As we are just going to sim this game, we're not going to hop in just yet, as we do end up beating the Vikings, and we are in the NFC Championship in Manuel Tovar's first year. As jumping into the NFC Championship, we are taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe that we're actually a higher overall than them, which is surprising given we're still a pretty young team, as early in the game the Bucs take a 3-0 lead and tied into the second. However, we do take a commanding 7-3 lead. Going into the third, it is still 7-3, as nobody can do anything on offense, and there is just 4 minutes left, and it looks like we do have the ball. A 7-yard rush from Trey Benson sets us up 2nd and 3 on the 40, just 3.5 minutes left to go in the fourth, as a big reception for Trey McBride as we just cross over midfield, and another huge reception for Trey McBride. We are going to jump into this game because this could actually decide the game, as we are wearing the all-white unis. Honestly, one of my favorite uniforms and one of the most underrated, I think, as we give the ball to Trey Benson, or is that Javonte Williams? Nope, that's Trey Benson, as he actually gets a pretty nice rushing yard. For as much as I'm shitting on him, he actually is playing pretty well this game. 9 rushes for 45 yards. 2nd and 1 with the 2-minute warning just going. I think we might just end up running out the clock here as Trey Benson gets stuffed. Maybe that's why we're not running the ball. The Buccaneers do take a timeout, and honestly, we need to look to pass here, I think. Passing is definitely the strongest part of our game as they line up in a running formation. Unfortunately, 3rd and 1 for the Cardinals as we throw a pitch to Trey Benson, and he gets absolutely stuffed in the backfield. As the Bucs do come out onto the field, it looks like Baker Mayfield is still back there, and Mike Evans is actually still playing with Chris Godwin out to your left as well. Baker Mayfield steps up into the pocket and gets absolutely hammered by Trenton Simpson. 2nd and 4 for the Bucs. No urgency here. 1:35 left, and we are in the 4th quarter. The Bucs really need to get a move on here, as it looks like Baker Mayfield once again passing, and off the edge, Josh Sweat with a 2-sack game. A huge play for Josh Sweat. 3rd and 12 for the Bucs, and it is not looking good for them at all. Baker Mayfield takes the snap, looks to scramble, throwing it deep, and he does not have a man. A great defensive play by Garrett Williams to knock the ball away, and that is why we have him. It's 4th and 12 for the Bucs. I don't know if they're going to be able to pick this one up. We might just walk out of here with a win with a rookie QB. Keep in mind, we have a rookie QB, as it looks like we're lining up in prevent defense. We have a lot of really heavy linebackers out there, as Baker Mayfield once again scrambling, looks to scramble, and just gets clobbered again, as we are going to come out of here with the win. Nick Bonito makes the tackle, and the Cardinals are going to be going to the Super Bowl in Manuel Tovar's first year. As for the stats, Baker Mayfield does not throw a single touchdown or interception, throws just 143 yards, and Manuel Tovar actually only throws 85 yards as well. But he does end up picking up a touchdown. Trey Benson also could not get anything going, and neither could Bucky Irving, who was held to just 1.6 yards per carry and 10 yards. Definitely not an offensive game at all, as Andy Jennings catches the only touchdown of the game. Defensively, this is probably what happened. Nick Bonito with 2.5 sacks, Josh Sweat with 2 as well, Walter Nolan picking up 1 with Eddie Harrison picking up half a sack too. However, that is a great game from our defense, as we are going to be looking to head to our first Super Bowl since 2010, as in the Super Bowl we are going to be taking on the Ravens, who are one of the best teams in sim that I've honestly ever seen. He is now a superstar development for winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Defensively, it looks like everybody stayed the same despite having pretty good years, but we will look to be taking on the Ravens in the Super Bowl. It'll definitely be a tougher matchup than what we faced so far. However, we might actually be able to come away with the win here. We are one overall higher than them, as we do start off with the ball and we take a 7-0 lead. The Ravens answer back just 7-3, getting just a field goal. As going into already the third quarter, it's 14-10 Cardinals, 21-10 Cardinals, 21-18 Ravens, as it looks like we do have the ball and we get a big play, and that is actually going to end up ending the game. There wasn't really a chance to jump in, but we do beat the Ravens 21-18. It looked like it was almost going to be a blowout, but Lamar Jackson must have answered back, and the Cardinals pick up their first Super Bowl win in franchise history. It's largely due in part to Manuel Tovar picking up just one touchdown, 230 yards. Not an amazing game, but also not a bad one either. Trey Benson was once again terrible. I don't know what else you guys expect at this point. Receiving wise, Andy Jennings has been dominant this playoffs, looking like 2010 Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best playoff runs of all time, honestly, picking up a touchdown and almost 100 yards as well. As defensively, this could be where we really exceeded, and it was. 1 sack for Nick Bonito, 1 sack for Eddie Harrison, and 1 sack for Walter Nolan as well. Eddie Harrison also picked up 3 TFLs, as the Ravens just could not get much going. Josh Fernandez picking up 2 of his own. I honestly don't even know who this is. Will Johnson with a TFL, Trenton Simpson with a TFL. As for your yearly recap, Manuel Tovar does win Super Bowl MVP, with also getting Offensive Rookie of the Year, as that is going to be the end of the rebuild. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was a pretty fun rebuild. I enjoyed it a lot, and I hope you guys did as well. If you want to see more, leave a like, leave a comment. It helps the channel a lot, especially considering this is a new channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.